Hello, my name's Grady Hosier, and today I'm going to be talking about a life lesson from UF 100 for Shakespeare. I'm going to be talking about gaslighting and manipulation and why it is wrong to do so in a relationship. Right now, I'm going to start with the definition of gaslighting. It is a term used in self help and amateur psychology to describe a dynamic that can occur in personal relationships, romantic or even parental, and in workplace relationships. It involves two parties, the gaslighter and the gaslighted, who persistently puts forth a false narrative in order to manipulate, and the gaslighted, who struggles to maintain their individual autonomy. It is typically only effective when there is an unequal power dynamic or when the gaslighted has shown respect to the gaslighter. Gaslighting is different from genuine relationship disagreement, which is both common and important in relationships. It's distinct in that only one partner is consistently listening and considering the other partner's perspective, and one person is consistently negating the other person's perception, insisting that they're wrong, or telling them that their emotional reaction is irrational or dysfunctional. So basically, it's one person who has more power in the relationship that is routinely telling the other person, oh, you're crazy for thinking this, or just overall things like that, making somebody question their reality or their perception of reality. There were examples of this in Julius Caesar, in Act 2, Scene 2, where Calpurnia is trying to tell Caesar not to go to the Senate, that she's had bad dreams about it, and that she thinks something bad is going to happen to him. Caesar, nearly agreed not to go, but then Decius Brutus comes in and basically tells Calpurnia that she's crazy, or tells Caesar that Calpurnia is crazy for thinking these things, and overall manipulates him into going to the Senate. Now, this is also present in Taming of the Shrew, Act 4, Scene 5, where Petruchio tries to convince Katerina that the moon shines brightly, and she questions him. She's like, the moon, it's the sun, it's not moonlight now. And he continually tries to convince her that the sun is the moon until she finally relents. Now, basically, I have never been gaslighted. I have been manipulated, but I'm not going to talk about that today. Instead, I'm going to talk about my sister's experience, which she's given me permission to do for this. Her ex-husband, or soon-to-be ex-husband, they're signing the divorce papers this week. He was a routine gaslighter. For instance, like, he would be told on several occasions that events were coming up, especially family events, and when the day of the event came, he'd claim that she's told him nothing, or that he only wants to spend an hour, but most of the time he would just claim that, oh no, you never told me about this, even though she told him several times in the weeks prior that, oh no, there's definitely a family event coming up. And then when she asked him for a divorce back in 2020, he basically paced around downstairs while my sister was on the phone with her friend, and then he was like, this conversation's not finished. And then what did he do? He took his gun and left the house with it. And to me, that is a prime example of emotional manipulation. He didn't technically gaslight her in that situation, but he still used the gun for emotional manipulation to make my sister think he was going to go out and kill himself. So she basically agreed to not get a divorce as long as he agreed to have couples therapy with her. But when the time came for the therapy, he was like, you never told me about therapy, or this was never the issue. If anybody needs therapy, it's you that needs therapy. But she ended up moving to Arkansas with him from Idaho. And that ended up turning into a disaster. He basically geographically and socially isolated her from her family and her friends. And yeah, that's it. It's very wrong to gaslight your partner or even try to manipulate your partner, no matter what kind of manipulation it is, because in the end, you're only hurting people. You're only hurting your spouse, and you're only hurting your love, or you're even hurting yourself. You're doing damage to yourself but with it. So that's it. Again, I'm Grady Hosier, and I hope you enjoyed the video.